Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, January 9th, 2025. My bad, I'm stuck on last year. 2026. 2026. And we're going to get into your AFC wildcard playoff predictions. Uh Things are moving so fast. It's already the 9th, y'all. It's already the 9th, and before you know it, it'll be February and we'll be watching the Super Bowl. With that said, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that thumbs up, and of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe, click that bell, turn on your notifications, that way you don't miss a stream. Much love to the Wrench Gang, much love to the family, all the listeners, all the watchers out there. I do appreciate you all. All right, so we're going to get into your AFC wildcard predictions. We've already did the NFC, so you can go back and check out that live stream. It was very fun. It was a great time. If you didn't know, my picks over there, it was the Eagles, Bears, Eagles, Bears, Panthers. So there you go, Eagles, Bears, Panthers. So as we get into this AFC, it's going to be a little different. We got a lot to talk about, especially with these Bills and Jags, Steelers, Texans, and of course, Patriots, Chargers. So yeah, I did put up a poll for you guys to vote on. The biggest upset loss in round one between the Bills, Texans, Patriots. Make sure you drop it in the comments later if you do not watch this live. If you do watch it live, I mean, you're watching it basically in the rewind. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Who's going to have the biggest upset in the AFC side of things? With that said, we'll spark it off with the Steelers and the Texans, ladies and gentlemen. Steelers and the Texans. And Houston 12-5, Pittsburgh 10-7. As far as the spread, you're looking at the Texans favored by 3 on the road. Over under 38.5, minus 155 on the money line. Plus 130 on the money line for the Steelers. As far as your matchup predictor, 54.4% for the Texans, 45.6% for the Steelers. Now, this is very, very interesting because we know that DK Metcalf was obviously out for 2 games. Steelers made it to the playoffs, unfortunately, at the the worst kind of situation for the Ravens. So the Steelers make it in. And, shout out to the kicker. But, that's history now. And so Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Warren, all these guys are going to have to figure out if, they can get the job done. On the flip side, you got the Texans, arguably one of the absolute best defenses in the NFL. I think we're in for a treat with this one. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see if Aaron Rodgers still has it, right? Does he still have one more rodeo in him? Or is this CJ Stroud's turn to take the mantle and show the league that he means business and that this Texans team can get it done or get to a championship? With that said, as far as the season leaders, 3,041 passing yards for CJ Stroud, 3,332 for Aaron Rodgers. As far as the rushing side of things, you got Marks with 703 yards, which he got busy. He definitely got busy. But Warren on the other side, 958 yards, 211 carries on 6 touchdowns. Nico Collins with 1,117 receiving yards. DK Metcalf with 59 receptions for 6 touchdowns. Offensively, to be honest, I think they're almost evenly matched. The edge obviously going towards the Texans because of that strong defense. I mean, we've seen what that pass rush can do. And if Aaron Rodgers can't get away from it, he's going to be in trouble. We're going to see about 3 to 4, maybe even 5 sacks. But getting into, obviously, the injury report, we know this is a little bit early. This may change as of tomorrow. But for right now, you've got Brown out or questionable. You got Lassiter questionable, Autry questionable, Jordan, Howard for the Texans. And then, of course, for the Steelers, you got Smith questionable, Loudermilk on RR, Washington on IR. I always butcher this, my bad, y'all. Ikule, and then, of course, Anderson. Getting into the last 5 for the Texans, they had the win against the Colts 38-30. They had the win against the Chargers 20-16. They had the win against the Raiders 23-21. The win against Arizona 40-20. And of course, they beat Kansas City 20-10. Flip side for the Steelers, You've got the win against Baltimore, 26-24. You got the loss to Cleveland, 13-6. You got the win against Detroit, 29-24. You got the win against Miami, 28-15. And, of course, the win against Baltimore, again, 27-22. So, what are we looking for in this game, right? We know it's the playoffs. We know it's all the chips are on the table. I think for this one, we're absolutely looking at what this defense is able to do with Aaron Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers isn't your typical quarterback, right? He's not one of these rookies or one of these guys who's been in the league for a few years that's, not really going to know what to do with a strong defense. He's been here before. He's a veteran. He knows what it takes to get through these significant and critical moments and these high-pressure situations. So when you talk about an X factor, you're talking about a situation with, can Aaron Rodgers once again prove not only to the league, but to himself that he can go out there and get the job done with this Steelers team. And I do think that offensively they have great chemistry. I do think that they have the ability to go out there and make it a game. But once again, that Texans defense, it's going to be something crazy. On the flip side, you got a great running system with Marks. You got Collins. You got C.J. Stroud. He's been playing poised. He's been playing more focused as far as coming into this last season here. And I think, coming into this playoffs, he's got a lot to prove. He's got a lot on his shoulder. He's coming back with the mentality that, hey, I've been here before. I couldn't execute the way that I needed to. I couldn't get to that next level. And I think at this point, this leads to an interesting, basically, match, a great timeline for both teams. You got the old veteran. You got the younger guy coming into his own. Point blank, it's going to be a shootout, right? It's going to be a dogfight. I would say that it's very easy to give the Texans this one because of the defense, but I think you were expecting C.J. Stroud to play absolutely perfect football, right? You're expecting him to play perfect football. Don't make any mistakes out there. Don't do anything crazy. Don't play hero ball. Just go out there and kind of let the game come to you. But the problem is you're in the playoffs. You're in the most significant game of your career once again. And, if your defense can't stop or hold the Steelers to a point where allow you to get the offense rolling, you may run into some issues. And on the flip side, if Aaron Rodgers can, pick apart this defense, maybe on some short throws, catch him on some screens, Warren can get things going on the ground with the run. I know they're going to, double team DK Metcalf. That's just going to be the situation there. But you're more so worried about the pressure that they're going to bring on Aaron Rodgers. And, if they can overwhelm him, then obviously, I think it's going to be lights out for the Texans. But if they can't overwhelm Aaron Rodgers and he's able to actually figure out this defense, which I know he's been studying for it because he's one of those quarterbacks, it's going to be a game. With that said, the over-under being 38.5, I do think that this is one where, it's by a field goal. It's going to come down to a field goal. Now, would it be a fitting story for the Steelers to go on to the divisionals and Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers, keeping that chip on his shoulder? I could see it going that way, but we all know that defense wins championships. So as much as I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have an answer for that defense, I just got to lean towards, the favorites. Vegas is saying by 3. I got to go with the Texans by 3. Shout out to the family who are Steelers fans. Jacob, I see you, bro. I know y'all going to be mad at me, but listen, it's going to be a good one. I just think Texas is going to take it by 3. And that's my prediction over there. Let me hop into the chat with you guys. Shout out to you, Firewood. What up, man? What's going on with you, Daniel? Good to see you. Father Time in the building. What up, bro? Dante in the house. Shout out to you, Dante. What up, Trent? Good to see you. Good to see you. Gate Smasher in the house. Cedar Key Bills Mafia in the building. Posers will be sorted out as they will. Says I wouldn't take that. If I bet, I'd say the under. Listen, I've been saying that for both sides as far as the NFC and the AFC. I think all the unders hit for the wild card. I mean, you may have, a situation with the Panthers and, the Rams where, they run it up. But I think, or even the Bills and Jags, right? Those may be the two that actually go over. But I think for the most part, it's going to be an under type situation in these playoffs, right? A lot of people are expecting, the high flying, high scoring games that we've become accustomed to, as far as in the regular season. But things are going to definitely slow down in these playoffs because, like I said, all the chips are on the table, right? You're going to have people who don't want to make many mistakes, right? You're not going to have many, as many errant throws or trying to just really, get it down the field as much. I think people are going to, try to play a little more careful and then have to open it up later on in the game. But I think we're going to see a lot of the slow starting as far as in these playoffs. So yeah, I'm going to take the Texans by 3. I'll take the Texans by 3, and in that first one there. So there you go. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that thumbs up as we keep it going. The next one we're going to get to momentarily is going to be the Chargers and the Patriots, which I do think is going to be a good one as well. Shout out to you, Sassy. Good to see you. Good to see you, Sassy, in the building. Dink and Dunk made Brady rings. I agree. All right. So for those who can't tell, your boy Jay had some surgery. Your boy Jay had some surgery. Quick shout out to you, Gay Smasher, coming through with the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. I appreciate you. Jay had some mouth surgery. I had to go to the dentist and all that good stuff. I had to get an extraction done. So if you look at my cheek, you'll see why I'm not talking how I normally talk. I've gotten better. I had it on Tuesday, and fortunately, it's everything. The swellings went down, and my jaw is feeling a little less tight, but it's definitely still bothering me. So that's why I couldn't stream the college games and all that. But I will be back tomorrow. Shout out to you, Toivo. I appreciate you for liking the stream over on Facebook. Shout out to the Facebook crew holding it down. So yeah, I had surgery and had to get a tooth extracted, and so that is why I was not able to go live for the college games. But I will be back this weekend. I'm feeling better. I can actually talk now, and I can stretch my my jaw, and we can go. We can have a good time tomorrow. Shout out to you, Father Time. Appreciate you, bro. All right. So now we're gonna get into these Chargers and the Patriots. Now this is another one where I think you have a situation with Justin Herbert, right? He gets to these points where first round, and you think he's gonna do well, and he's either injured or he's just not playing like himself, and he ends up getting knocked out. And we've seen it time and time again. And a lot of people feel, bad for Justin Herbert because we know that he can be good. We know that he can be great. But I think at this point in his career, he's going to have to rise to the occasion in one of the, once again, most important games of his career against a strong team, against a team that's been playing very well, against a team that obviously has the MVP coming into these playoffs. And so it's going to be interesting to see what this Chargers team can do when the chips are stacked against them. With that said, I did hear I did get some news that Stephon Diggs' trial was pushed past the Super Bowl, which I thought was really funny, and everybody was all freaking out saying, "Oh, it's Patriots Super Bowl confirmed." I was kind of laughing about that. But yeah, Stephon Diggs, his trial date has been pushed past the Super Bowl. So I think in a sense for Stephon Diggs and this Patriots team, it's going to be good for them because I think it releases some of the stress as far as that situation goes, and it clears up, some of the dilemmas that the locker room might have as far as thinking about that. Just go out there, play ball, do what you need to do. But let's go ahead and get into this one. As far as the Chargers, the over-under is 45.5. Chargers are plus 160. The spread is 3.5, and that's what it opened at. It hasn't moved. And as far as the money line, it's minus 192 for the Patriots. Obviously, Patriots being at home. Record 14-3, Chargers 11-6. As far as your matchup predictor, 46.5% for the Chargers, 53.5% for the Patriots. So as you can see there, the Patriots are heavily favored just from the fan side of things. Quick shout out to you, Sass. It says extractions are the worst, but definitely take the pain away. Heal up, Jay. Without a doubt. Listen, before I keep going, I was on I was on the nursing home diet. It's terrible. The last 4 days, it's been applesauce and ice cream and mashed potatoes. It was absolutely terrible. And I just had my first real food today. It's been absolutely crazy. But yeah, shout out to you, Sassy. Gates Matcher says Chargers and Patriots, interesting game. I agree. Shout out to you, Angela. Good to see you. Good to see you. Matthew, are you doing the college football game tonight? Unfortunately, because I had an extraction on Tuesday, I can't talk too much. Like I'm okay now, but I know I only got about 30 to 45 minutes to get this all out. That's why I wanted to do the predictions with you guys. I will be on tomorrow though. I will be on tomorrow and Sunday. I think I'll be, healed about 90%. So I'll be able to stream those. I wanted to, do the bowl games. But with that said, I will be doing the championship, the college football championship. I'm hoping Indiana takes it. I think they're gonna take it tonight. We'll see. That's my quick prediction. I ain't have a chance to really break down Indiana and Oregon with y'all. But if y'all wanted to know, I think Indiana gonna take it, and we gonna see them in the championship, which I'll be streaming that. All right, let me get back to these Chargers and Patriots. Chargers, Patriots, 11-6, 14-3. The spread is 3.5. Over under is 45.5. Matchup predictor 46.5 for the Chargers, 53.5% for New England. Like I said, this is going to be a game of can you remove the distractions? Now we know that Diggs is, his situation has been pushed off after the Super Bowl. So, he's going to be a little more relaxed. He's going to be ready to go, not thinking about that and not having that in his mind as far as the situation goes. On the running side of things, you have a great running system for the Patriots. You have a great passing system for the Patriots. So the real question is, will this Chargers defense be able to hold up against Drake May, who has been absolutely phenomenal this year? He's made plays on the run. He's made plays in the pocket. And so people are now starting to look at Drake May like he's definitely a problem in the AFC East and obviously coming into these playoffs. Now, as far as MVP, the real question is, should it be Matthew Stafford or should it be Drake May? We do know that Matthew Stafford had a couple of games that, were off last month. And so Drake May looks like he's going to be the MVP because he's been the most consistent, even though Matthew Stafford's stats were higher than Drake May's. With that said, we've been looking at Drake May's game all season, looking at these Patriots who have obviously taken over the AFC East this season. And hey, you have to give credit where credit is due. Mike Vrabel has coached a great team. He's done a great job as far as getting this team and this organization back in order. You look at the situation for Gerard Mayo, he wasn't able to do anything. Mike Vrabel came in, hey, we're going to clean the suite. We're going to do what we need to do. And they've done it. They've come out very strong. So there's nothing really bad you can say about, this Patriots team. Now, I would say that defensively, that's where you may see some of the issues. And this is where I say, okay, the offense is good, but for the Chargers, you're looking at it this way. Okay, the defense is where we can find our, spots to pull off our strengths against their weaknesses. With the Chargers, we know that Justin Herbert can pass the ball. We know that they too have a decent running game. So I do think that this game is a lot more closer than what, even Vegas is saying. I would have appreciated probably a 1.5 spread, just because I think that this is a game where Justin Herbert really comes out of that shell and comes out of his bag. We've seen it time and time again where, he'd end up in a playoff scenario and he gets kicked out. If I'm Justin Herbert, I don't want to deal with that again. I'm going to go out here and play my best ball. I'm going to go out here and rally my troops and get myself in order so I could prove to the league this is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm not a first-round exit. I hear the people talking. I hear the people chirping about it. I want to go out here and win and obviously beat this team who everyone says is so great and potentially the MVP. So I think there's a lot as far as on Justin Herbert's shoulder, and I think at this point, he's fit for it. He's healthy for the most part, as we can tell. So I think this is going to be a little bit different as far as from what we've seen from the previous years with Justin Herbert and what he's been able to do in critical moments. With that said, as far as the passing yards, 3,727 for Justin Herbert, 4,394 for Drake May. On the rushing side of things, you got Vidal with 643, Henderson with 911, McConkey with 789 receiving yards, Stephon Diggs with 1,013. Like I said, as far as the injury report, it'll probably be updated tomorrow. But you've got Dupree questionable for the Chargers, Phillips, Hampton, Molden, and of course Fisk on IR. For the Patriots, you have Munford, Landry, Tonga, Butte, and of course Austin on IR. Getting into the last five, as far as with the Chargers, you got the loss against Denver, 19-3. You had the loss to the Texans, 20-16. You had the win against Kansas City, 16-13. And you had the win against Philly in overtime, 22-19. Getting over to the Patriots, you had a win against Miami, 38-10. You had the win against the Jets, 42-10. You had the win against Baltimore, which was a close one, 28-24. You lost to the Bills, 35-31. And then, of course, you beat the Jets, the Giants, 33-15. Now, if we look at this last five here, let me just bring this down for y'all. If you look at this last five for the Patriots, you're going to say, okay, right, they beat Miami. They beat the Jets. Baltimore, yeah, this was a strong win. You lost to the Bills by 4. This was a tough loss. And, of course, you beat the Giants 33-15. So, the last five for the Patriots really ain't nothing to write home about. Sure, we're not discrediting their wins, but we are looking at the competition, and the competition really wasn't too stiff in the last five besides maybe 2 teams. But for the Chargers, right, you had Denver, 19-3. The Texans, 20-16. Dallas, which you beat them 34-17. Kansas City, which you beat them 16-13, and you beat Philly 22-19 in overtime. So this is why I said I think this game is a lot more closer than what Vegas is saying with this, 3.5 situation on the spread. Over unders 45.5. I wouldn't be surprised if we do hit the under on this one, just because I do think it's going to be a good amount of defense played in this. A lot of people expect, like I said, the high flying, the high scoring, heavy offense. This is the playoffs. The narrative changes. If there's a script, the script changes. But with that said, this one's easy for me. This one's very easy for me, and I'm going to tell you why. I think Drake May now is the one who has everything on his shoulders. You played very well against these teams that may have or may not have had good records in the regular season. But now you're coming into these playoffs, and this is the most important game of your career. Everything is on the line. Is that going to be too much for you because you haven't been here before? You haven't been in this scenario before. Is it going to be too much for you? Are you going to try to do too much? Are you going to force the ball in certain situations or in tight spaces where you normally wouldn't have because you feel like you have to do too much? Especially if you come at a point where the Patriots maybe start off a little slow and they're down a touchdown or two. That could become very traumatic for Drake May in this situation because he hasn't been in this situation before. On the flip side, Justin Herbert has a lot to prove. You got a lot to prove, not in the sense of you haven't been here before because you have, but in the sense of I've heard everyone saying that I couldn't do it. I've seen everyone talking about me when I was injured, and I still made it to the playoffs. And even though I did get knocked out the first round, I still played good enough to make it. So now this is my opportunity and my chance to step up and go get a win in one of the hardest places to do it, in one of the most hardest games in the season to play. So go ahead and give me the Chargers by 7 against the Patriots. Chargers by 7 against the Patriots. Next up, we'll get to the Bills and the Jags. Bills and the Jags after I get through in the chat with you guys. In the chat. Shout out to Dante says Chargers are going to have to make this an ugly game and be aggressive versus Vrabel. I agree. That's the only way it's going to happen. But if you bring the pressure, you get, well, not get, but you have to keep him in the pocket. You have to keep Drake May in the pocket because he is good on the run, right? If you keep him in the pocket, you bring that pressure, you close those lanes, you will get some sacks on him. You basically forced him on 3 and outs, punt it away. I think that's going to be, your best opportunity. And so, listen, If Justin Herbert can move this ball effectively, they can get the run going, they can hold time in possession. I think this game becomes a lot more easier than what most people may think it will be for the Chargers. It just really comes down to whether or not, you can hold Drake May in that pocket, you can get some sacks, you can force them to punt it and make a game out of it. But I'm taking Chargers by 7. Chargers by 7. I say the under on everything. I was saying that, but we got to see. We got to see, bro. Like I said, I did put up in the chat before we get up to the Bills and the Jaguars. Biggest upset loss in round 1. Bills, Texans, or Patriots. Bills have the lead at 41%, y'all. 41%. That's interesting. All right, I see y'all. Shout out to the Facebook crew holding it down. Espino says over on the Bills game. I was thinking that just because we're gonna get to it. Let's just get to it. Let's get to it. All right. Bills Jags. I think this is the most hyped game of the playoffs for sure, without a doubt. This game is so hyped for a couple of reasons, right? And I'm not going to spend all the time talking about Josh Allen because we know the scenario, we know the story. But I will say this. The narrative of the media pushing this situation with Josh Allen and saying that, well, if he doesn't make it to the Super Bowl and win it this year, we don't know what to say. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Lamar Jackson. Okay, that doesn't matter. You have other quarterbacks who've played very well to make it to the playoffs. So it doesn't matter about Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. It matters. Let me just shut this off, y'all. My bad. It matters about Bo Nix. It matters about Trevor Lawrence. It matters about C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Drake May. These quarterbacks matter. So at the end of the day, I don't like that narrative. And I kind of get, where they're coming from and why they're saying it. But at the end of the day, it's a moot point. Because all the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. There's not one quarterback that's playing in the playoffs right now that doesn't have a good shot of actually going to the Super Bowl. I mean, maybe besides the Panthers, even though I took them. I had to throw that out there for you Panthers fans. But no, seriously, there's not a quarterback in the league right now that doesn't have a true shot at going to the Super Bowl. So I just think, the media put that out there to create hype around, Josh Allen and this Bills team. And it's very simple. We know that there's, Bills players out, significant Bills players out. Harrison's out, Prater's out now. So the Bills brought in a new kicker. They've had to make so many changes throughout the year, and especially now into the playoffs. So your main question is, what is Sean McDermott going to do? Is he going to have this team ready? Is Brady going to be ready? I mean, last time I checked, Brady was out there interviewing for the Ravens head coaching job. Are we prepared for the playoffs, or do you know something that we don't know? I got a lot to talk about tonight, y'all. If you're focused on the playoffs, why are you going to interviewing with the Ravens? If you believe in this team and, getting to the Super Bowl and everything that comes with that, why are you going and interviewing with the Ravens? Now, I'm not saying that he can't do that and still focus on his job. I'm just saying I wouldn't have liked to see that in the headlines if I'm going to believe in this team and I'm trying to get this team to a Super Bowl. And this is why I always tell people, I'm loyal to the team. I'm not loyal to the players or the coaches. And this is why I'm so critical of this Bills team, because I've been watching them for almost 40 years, because I've been a fan for almost 40 years, and we've seen players and coaching and all that kind of stuff rotate and leave and all that. So when it comes down to, what's going on with the Bills, I look at all that kind of stuff. Now, what's important? Execution, right? James Cook, Josh Allen. Can this offensive line give Josh Allen the time that he needs so he doesn't go out there and make mistakes? Can he play hero ball with a way where he doesn't make mistakes? Or is everybody going to step up, playoff Gabe, Shavers, Shakir, Kincaid, Knox, Ray Davis, can everybody play cohesive football and have some chemistry for once? That's my question. Can everybody do that? Because if they can, well, the Bills going to put up 40 points, which they're going to have to do. But on the flip side, the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, right? He's another one. I think of him as not having the same kind of issues that Justin Herbert did, but having the same kind of storyline as far as, oh, he's okay, but he hasn't really been great. Well, this season, Trevor Lawrence has been great. 13-4, playing very strong, got a couple good pickups, got a good running game. The defense is working now. So this is where the changes happen, and this is why the parity is so good in these playoffs, because now you have solid teams and there's no real outliers besides the Panthers. There's no real outliers in the playoffs, and that's why I said earlier, every quarterback in the playoffs has an opportunity to go into the Super Bowl. So let's get into it. As far as the spread, it's 1.5 in favor of the Jags. It actually switched. The Bills were favored by 1.5. Now Vegas is giving the odds to the Jags at home. Over under also has switched. I thought my bad, y'all. Maybe it didn't. I did see 48.5 somewhere. I could be tripping, but this is DraftKings. The over under now is 51.5. Minus 110 on the money line for both sides. This tells you exactly how we're expecting this game to go. The over under is 51.5. And the spread is 1.5. Listen, my bad. Listen, for this to go the way that we think it's going to go, I've been preaching this for 4 years now. Some of you know, some of you don't know. The Bills have to get 35 points to make it a game if they're going to win. I have to change it for this one because now the Bills have to get 40 points if they're going to win. Because I'm almost guaranteeing you that the Jags are going to put up between 27 to 30 points. That's just the reality of it. It could be even more. Bills secondary, not there. Bills on the run side of things, it's not there. So defensively, yes, I'm expecting, there to be a couple plays made. But I'm not relying on that. Just because of how significant this game is and how fast these playoffs are going to come at the Bills. You got to remember, we've been here before. We've been here before. We've been here before. And Josh is going to get sick, and he's got to do his thing on the sideline and get it all out, right? So play your game, let the game come to you, and don't feel like you have to do too much. You've already been here. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is the telltale sign. And if you really watch Bills football and you're part of Bills Mafia, you know. If Josh Allen doesn't look determined and ready to play ball, and he comes out with that deer in the headlights look, you might as well just cancel it. Whatever bets you got placed, just go ahead and cash out. I'm telling you right now. If Josh Allen steps in that tunnel and he has that deer in the headlights look and he doesn't look ready, cash out your bets. Because it's going to be a long night. But if we don't see that and we see Josh Allen fierce, ready to go, fired up, That's the one we're going to see that moves on to the divisionals. And that's what we're hoping to see. So let's keep it going. As far as the passing yards, 3,668 for Josh Allen, 4,007 for Trevor Lawrence. Rushing side of things, James Cook, the rushing leader with 1,621 yards. Etienne Jr. with 1,107 yards. On the receiving side of things, Shakir with 719. Washington with 847. And then, of course, for your injury report, you got Phillips for the Bills on IR. Prater's questionable. Oliver's on IR. Thompson's questionable. Hamlin IR. And then, of course, for the Jags, you've got Van Lennon questionable. McLeod on IR. Lewis on IR. Kaiser on IR. And, of course, Hunter on IR as well. Bills last five. You got the win against the Jets, 35-8. You had the loss against Philly, 13-12, 1-point game. You had a win against Cleveland, 23-20. You beat the Patriots, 35-31. And you beat the Bengals, 39-34. So pay attention to the scores here, right? Jets, 35-8. Philly, right? 12 points there. 23, 35, 39. It's a pattern, right? Get 35 points, you're most likely going to win. On the flip side with the Jags, Tennessee, 41-7. Colts, 23-17. Denver, 34-20. Jets, 48-20. Colts, 36-19. And now you're seeing exactly why I said we got to forget about 35. We got to forget about 35, y'all. Bills got to put up 40 points. You're looking at 41, 23, 34, 48, 36. Bills are going to have to put up 40 points. So if you expect a Bills victory on the road in Jacksonville, you're going to have to see at least 20 points in the first half. Hence, the 1.5 spread. So how do you do this? Time of possession. You keep that ball on the ground. You mix it up. Josh Allen's going to have to use his legs to extend drives. We already know that's coming. Don't force anything. Get out of the dink and dunk playing. Yes, we know it worked for the beginning of the season, but Joe Brady, please mix it up. We need you to come with different plays, mid-pass plays, mix it up with the long pass play. But whatever you do, get out of the screens, get out of throwing it to the flat, because it's predictable. And any coach or defensive coordinator is going to already have that tape and ready to go. There's going to be a game plan for it. So get out of that zone. And if you need to go back into Ken Dorsey's playbook, you go do it. Because the playbook that you had for this season, as much as it worked, it's not going to work now. So I expect to see completely different and off-the-wall plays. If you got to do a couple trick plays, I expect to see that just because they're going to try to mix it up. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, all of you are going to be complaining just like me. On the flip side, you kind of got the same situation for Trevor Lawrence, right? We've seen him in critical moments where he's been able to extend plays with his legs. He's throwing on the run, right? He's taking his time back there. He's poised. His offensive line is very strong this season. There's been a lot of changes with the Jags. I mean, the running's great. Obviously, wide receiver-wise, great things are happening there. So he's got a lot of different tools to mix things up that he can actually rely on and that he can depend on in critical moments. So what do you expect from the Bills defense? Bring the pressure. You've done it against Joe Burrow, right? You've done it against Lamar Jackson. You got to do it now. And you got to do it early. Don't wait until the third quarter to get busy. Get busy in the first quarter, right? Don't start from behind and then, okay, now we got to play football in the middle of the third quarter. You start in the first quarter, balls to the wall, hard, strong football. Let's go. Because that's what it's going to take for this Bills team to win. Otherwise, like I said, cancel it. Prediction, give me the Bills by 14. Because I believe. Not like Stranger Things, but y'all know I believe the Bills way. Let's go. Uh, Shout out to you, Dante. Says, do you feel the weather will play a factor in any of these games? Yes. I got to go back and look at the weather report. Before a couple of these games, we definitely will see some cold. We'll see some rain. I'm assuming some snow as well. So there's a lot that's going to happen as far as weather wise for some of these games for sure. Sig Beast, what up, man? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Gay Smasher says Bills got to guard the center of the field. I agree. Can anyone make a field goal this year? That's a great question. It's a great question. Is Kincaid playing or hurt? He should be playing. Last time I checked. Yeah, last time I checked. Are Bills gonna have a kicker? Yes, they just signed. His last name is Wright, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't remember how many kickers they have just because they go through so many. So give me 1 second. Hold on. Bills new kicker is it's not Matt Prater. We know that. I don't know why they do this. I asked an easy question. Matthew Wright. There it is. Yeah, I knew his last name was Wright. The Bills kicker is Matthew Wright. So I seen he had a decent percentage as far as for makes on field goals, and it was really good for extra points. So, once again, this is a banged up team, right? That is now expecting Josh Allen to do everything that he's been doing over the years. And I would say there is a level of pressure there. I would say there is a level of I have to go out here and win this game and put the team on my shoulders. But I think that goes for everybody, right? And that's not to say that Josh Allen isn't special, because he is, but I feel like every quarterback goes through that. But for Josh Allen, it's more so I've already been here. So I'm going to go out here poised, focused, and I'm going to go win. And I think when you get to that mentality and you understand what makes you great versus your weaknesses, you're going to go out there and do what you need to do to win. I think that's the reality of it. So, that's what I think, and that's what I feel is going to happen as far as, for these Bills Jags. And listen, I could be completely wrong. The Jags can come out and completely steamroll the Bills, right? Just start off very strong. Bills aren't ready. But I just don't think that Josh Allen, James Cook, Shakir, Shavers, Cooks, I don't think these guys can let that happen. I think they're going to go out there. I think they're going to ball out. They're going to make it a hell of a game. And they're going to make the Jags work for it. So if the Jags want to get it, they're going to have to play perfect football. That's the reality of it. But if you let the Bills put up 40 on you, y'all going to stay in Jacksonville for the Super Bowl. That's for sure. Shout out to you, Tactical. What up, man? This has got you on the TVJ. Good evening. My friend, I believe as long as Josh Allen is playing, y'all got a chance. Go Bills. Let's go. Shout out to you, Tactical. Listen, without a doubt, I don't have a thought or a doubt, but I do look at both sides, right? Because I wouldn't be good at what I do if I didn't. I look at both sides and I understand the strengths and the weaknesses of both teams and where it matters. Vegas is saying 1.5. Over-under is 51.5. This could be a situation just like for the with the Rams game. Remember, it was like 40, I think it was like 44-42 when the Rams won that game. It was 86 points on the board. This could be the same kind of scenario where, you just have both teams firing back and forth. But with this being the playoffs, that's where I think the shift is. And Trevor Lawrence, I think he's going to have those playoff jitters, right? Very important game. Yes, I've made it here, but the bright lights, they're in my face. That's that kind of situation, even though it's a 1:00 game. I just think that it is going to be a lot as far as for him, just from being at this point and being in something so significant, going up against Josh Allen and this team, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be like it's overseas where, the Bills dealing with jet lag and all this other stuff. It's going to be at your house in some decent weather, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to ball out. So there it is. There it is. Y'all are funny. All right, so getting back to the biggest upset loss in round one, we had the Bills, Texans, and Patriots. Y'all are holding down the Bills at 49%. All right, I know that ain't Bills Mafia, so we got some haters in the building. I see y'all. Tumbleweed says, just please don't wear the red. Yeah, don't wear red jerseys, y'all. Don't even wear white. I mean, y'all could wear white, just don't wear the rivalry white jerseys. Y'all could wear the regular white Bills or the blue Bills jersey, even the black one. But don't do that red or that rivalry white jersey because we just don't want to have the bad luck. Bad luck. Shout out to you, Richard. I appreciate you, bro, holding down the Facebook, showing the love. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah. So, make sure you dress accordingly. I will be in all black Bills attire because it'll be a funeral for the Jaguars. And there you go. I'm going to be in my black. Y'all know I got to hold it down with the hoodie. Hoodie J going to be in the building strong. I did have, I explained it earlier, I did have surgery. I went to the dentist. I had an extraction. My jaw, I had it on Tuesday, so my jaw is now just getting to the point where I'm comfortable talking. And that's why I did miss the college games. I wanted to stream those so bad, but I will be streaming the college games or the college football championship. But I won't be streaming, obviously, the game tonight. But I wanted to do these predictions with y'all because I did want to give y'all a nice hour of content before we get into the playoffs tomorrow and, of course, Sunday. So, yeah, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be streaming, and, of course, Monday for the college football championship. As Bobby says, no whiteouts. Yeah, man. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. So there it is, y'all. Like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments later when you watch this on the replay. Much love to the Wrench Gang. Much love to the family, all the listeners, all the watchers. I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. Drop it in the comments later. Let me know what your biggest upset is going to be. Let me know what you think. I'm still thinking the Panthers might upset the Rams. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's a lot of craziness going over there. They already beat them. They got Matt Stafford's number. Can Bryce Young hold on? Let me know. 5 times to take care of that, Jay. Seriously. Call again if you need help. Most def, yo. Shout out to you, 5 times. Much love. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have yourself a great Friday. I'm going to go check out this college game and give y'all my thoughts on that one later in the post. Bills wearing the white jerseys, blue pants. Yeah, so you can, like I said, you can wear the white jerseys. Just not the rivalry. the regular Bills jerseys. Just don't wear the rivalries. All right, y'all. Have a good Friday. Have a good night. See y'all tomorrow.